So the API testing related the theory part, everything you can find here under pages. API automation testing, rest assured, you can find here. And so what is API testing? We are going to learn here what is API testing and when you will do API testing, why nowadays API testing becoming very popular. Let's have some basic understanding of that. So before that, you need to understand what is the server and what is a client, and then what is the relation between client and server. We should understand that. So server is a connection of different clients, many clients. Okay, so it is connecting to many clients. So basically, the server will handle the request. Request will send by the client. Client will push all the requests to server. Server will process them and it will send back the response to the client. So, and basically all the actions will happen in the server only. So client provide a user interface and so it will carry out all the actions in the server. So that's a client and server relation. Then what is presentation, business and database layers? So first, the front end is called presentation layer in a web application. The front end means which is visible to you. That's a presentation layer. Application layer means the middle layer. Data layer, so that's a database. See, the presentation layer is designed by HTML file, either JavaScript or CSS. These are all used to develop the presentation layer. So to develop the application layer, you can use any programming languages like Java, .NET, C#, Python, C++. So these are all things they can use. That's application layer. Data layer means so any database, MySQL, Oracle, Postgres, SQL Server, MongoDB. These are all data layer. And so we can use any of these layers, okay? Any of these layers, all three layers as mandatory in any web application. So without these layers, there is no web application at all, okay? So there is no web application. All three layers will be there, every web application. Then, so where the API testing will happen? So API testing will happen in this application layer. So in this area only. Presentation layer happens the Selenium UI testing. The UI functional testing you will do on the presentation layer, which is visible to you, presented to you, basically. So that is this. So presentation, business, database layers. So then what is the API? So what is an API? Can you give some examples for APIs? API means application programming interface. Basically, it enables the communication data exchange between two separate software systems. That's the main API definition. So, and basically the developers will develop the functions, subroutines, so which are executed by some other system. So that's an API means. And examples are Google Maps API, Amazon Advertising API, Twitter API, YouTube API. So these are all the different APIs. So generally you're using an API when paying for your online shopping, purchasing products. So in the online, so those are all best examples for the APIs. So how you're linking your bank details, all you're not bothered about that. Even that online web stores, those are not building the bank software, but how it is connecting is through APIs. So that is an API means. And what is web service? So a web service is defined by the, so basically a software designed to support machine to machine operating system interaction over the network. So if there is a network only, the interaction will happen between two systems. That is called web service. So example, a Java-based application on Windows can communicate with a .NET-based application on Linux machine. So this communication, how it will happen is through XML or JSON message format or HTTP protocol. Or HTTP protocol, that XML or JSON message format it will happen. And the difference between web service and API is all web services are APIs, all APIs are not web services. That's the first point. So web service is only three style of use. One is SOAP, REST, XML, RPC for communication. API may use any style of communication. Like no, it will use REST or XML or JSON, different formats it will use. So web services are self-contained. APIs are open source and can be used anywhere. It can only be hosted on IaaS. Web services can be hosted only on the IaaS. IaaS means Internet Information Service. And API can be hosted within the application or IaaS. Within the application or IaaS. So web service might not perform all operation that an API would perform. API can perform all tasks that web services can do that. So web service requires a SOAP protocol to receive and send the data over the network. So it's not lightweight architecture, but API is a lightweight architecture, good for the devices like mobile devices, so where the bandwidth is very limited. And web services needs a network for its operation, and API doesn't need network for its operation. So that's the difference between web service and API. So what is API testing? So API testing is one of the functional testing. Okay, functional testing. It will be you can do API testing also. Through API testing, you can do functional testing, performance testing, security testing. All three kinds of testings you can do with the API testing. Functionality means whether that is working or not. whether that functionality is working or not, you will check. Performance, how you will test? Okay, how quickly the data is loading and quickly the data is retrieving from the server, you will check that performance. Security means, okay, so anybody in the middle, somebody hacking your data or not, you can check. So that's a security testing, performance testing, and functional testing. All three kinds of testing, you can do that. Okay. Any questions?
No.
Yeah. No questions?
Okay.
Okay. So what are the advantages of API testing? API testing can provide access to the application without UI. That means you don't need a user interface to test the API testing. Without any UI also you can do API testing. That's the first advantage. And API testing is usually less time consumes than functional testing. So GUI testing means you have to do a lot of so functional GUI testing you can do. API test automation requires less code, so it can provide better and faster test coverage compared to GUI test automation. So that's another advantage. API testing data is exchanged using XML or JSON. So that's your data will transfer between the two different systems or two different layers through XML or JSON format. And so these are the language independent, and you can choose any of the languages to do this API testing. Okay, so this is another important interview question. What is the difference between API testing and unit testing? So API testing and unit testing, a difference. So API testing is conducted by QA team, and unit testing is conducted by development team. API testing mostly so black box testing. Unit testing is a white box testing. And API testing is mainly used to assess the full functionality of the application. So that's a main concept. So the main difference between API testing and unit testing. So A/B testing you can perform only once the build is ready. But unit testing is performed by development team, and the development machine only. Their machine only they will perform this. A/B testing and unit testing difference. So what are the features of web service? So web service features are interoperability, reuse already developed functionality into a new software, loosely coupled, extensibility. So these are the features of a web service. So what are different types of web services? We have a SOAP, web services. Then what is SOAP? SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. So basically it exchanges the information using request and response in XML format. So or HTTP or SMTP protocols. That's a SOAP means. So SOAP is basically only XML. It supports only XML format. It supports only XML format. Any questions on this?
Okay.
Okay. So, and what are the different components of a SOAP? Simple Object Access Protocol, Web Service Description Language, that is called WSDL, Web Service Description Language, and UD, Universal Description, Discover and Integration. Then mainly the component which is more useful is this one, WSDL. What is WSDL? Let's understand what is WSDL. So WSDL stands for Web Service Description Language. So it's an XML file. So that describes the technical details of how to implement a web service. Like so they will give in the web service how it has to work, and what is the message input format, what is the endpoint URL format, what is the output you will get. So what protocol they need to be followed, and which protocol the web services is going to use, and what is the port, what is the method name, and what is the arguments, and the different data types you need to pass. All those will be passed through this WSDL. So that's the so WSDL means. Okay. And so UD. So UD stands for Universal Description, Discovery and Integration. Basically, what will happen is, so any request you are sending, that request will be registered in the UD. And then it is available for the access. That's what the UD purpose. So through SOAP, if you are sending a request, that request first it will register here and it will be available for all the other persons who are going to consume. So that's this UD means. But these are all not that much important. You need to focus mainly on the RESTful web services. Then what are the different SOAP testing tools? We have a SOAP UI, JMeter, UFT. So these are all the SOAP testing tools. And RESTful web services are architectural style. So which is going to be brought to the world by Roy Fielding in 2000 in his medical work. And then, so REST is the meaning is representational state transfer, so which provides a communication between the client and server using ordinary HTTP request. So what are the HTTP request? So get to, post to, put to, delete. These are the HTTP request. And get, post, put, delete. It transfers information from the client in the request parameters and information from a server. So then you will get the response in the JSON format or XML format, whatever the format you want it. So that's the REST. And REST is a architectural style for a web service. But REST is not a protocol, but it sets of rules and guidelines. So we're building the communication between sender and receiver. That's the web services. But you need to understand what is the REST API means, how it works. So basically RESTful web services uses the HTTP protocol or HTTP verb methods. So what are the HTTP verb methods? Get, post, put, delete. These are the HTTP verb methods. So basically these methods are restricted for storing the client status on the server side. So basically stateless or how you want. And then, so mainly you need to focus, what are the HTTP verb methods? So HTTP verb methods are get, post, put, delete. Get, post, put, delete. So get method basically retrieves the data from the server. And you don't need any, request body for the get call. Get call directly you might have mainly authorization or a token, and then to and you won't give any body, just headers, any request parameters are the parameters, endpoint URL, and the method, which method you need to use. That's enough. It is get, because you're using get call. So obviously you'll use get. Right? So then So what are the different kinds of HTTP verb methods? Get to, post to, put to, delete. Get call always idempotent method. Idempotent means it just retrieves the data and store it. Just retrieving the data purpose. You use a get call. Then put call, post call. Post call, what it will do? It will post the data. Like you want to create an account, you want to create a post in the Twitter account, or you want to open a Gmail, anything so which is supported. So can be done with the post method. You have to give headers, request headers, request body, application JSON header. And another thing is, mainly important thing is request body. Body means you are inputting a data. What data you are inputting? That data and also so any questions there? And you will get a status code as a 201 created. Request is created. That also you can do that. So what are the things you need to provide for the post method? First you pass the URL endpoint here. Okay. Then method is a post method, and request body is either JSON format or XML format. You supply the JSON, and then request body, then hit the send button. You will get a 201 created. Is created. Is creating post. So next delete method. Basically, you can delete the so next put method. Put method also similar. Just you will give a request body, what you want to modify, or you want to total you want to modify, you can modify. It's a put method. Put method is basically just to update. Put method is in the PUT, there is a U for update. So which data you want to update, you need to tell that. So if you tell that, and then it will go and update with the latest value. And to any website, any API, what are the structure? First, you have to choose the API method. And then request headers, request body if required, and request response you will get back. Last one is delete method. So basically it will delete the resource from server. So delete method will delete the data from the server based on the given ID. So what is the difference between SOAP and REST? SOAP is a XML based protocol. So REST is a architectural style protocol. So basically SOAP uses WSDL to communicate between the consumer and provider. REST uses XML or JSON to send and receive a data. SOAP calls the RPC method to invoke the series, to invoke the services. Client so calls service via URL path. And in the SOAP, result is not human readable. But in the REST, and SOAP result is human readable, not that much user friendly. It's not human readable. REST, say human readable. SOAP, transfers the data between the two different systems using HTTP, FTP, or SMTP, but REST transfers through HTTP only. So SOAP basically difficult to implement, and REST is very easy to implement. SOAP performs a minimal, very less performance. So REST is high performance. It is very faster than SOAP. So these are the main differences between SOAP and REST. Let's come back and we'll discuss further. Okay.
Okay.
So rejoin. We'll discuss more.